And we made it after
Yay!
all. Wow. We are here and you are there, wherever that may be. Camera's up here too, so you can look up there, can't you?
Yes. Hmm.
Look up there and see if you can
Yes.
see.
Yes.
Ah, that's where our camera is. But
Yeah.
anyway, hello, hello. Good to see you again. We are at where?
Um, Taking the journey together.
Exactly. We're definitely taking the journey together. We're glad to see that you're here.
Yes.
And we're looking forward to having a very good program together. And at the same time, we hope that you're going to enjoy yourself as you did before, picking up some information that are helping you out in your relationship. So, Sharon, do you want to introduce us, or and even though it says up front, and do you want to at least kind of tell what our vision is? Did you bring the paperwork, or do you know it on
I
the top of your head?
I didn't and I
Well,
don't.
so you wasn't
But
ready for the show anyway, but
I
it should be inside you
it
somewhere.
is. It's I will have to paraphrase as I used to do before I started reading it.
Okay.
And I am Zare. This is Imar, and
Mm-hmm.
we are taking the journey together. And our mission statement is we are going to relate. It doesn't matter what your mother says. It doesn't matter what your father says. It doesn't matter what your family says. It doesn't even matter what Jesus says. We are going to relate. At taking the journey together, we believe in relating in a balanced way. And
Mm-hmm.
what we mean by balanced is you enter into a relationship as friends first
Mm-hmm.
and lovers second,
Okay.
but um, both aspects of a relationship are in both parties.
Okay.
I got clothes.
Yes, you did. You partied down, girl. You have partied
Party.
down. Wow.
Uh,
Wow.
yes.
Okay. So on top of that note, it's all about trying to bring balance. But hey, you've been hearing the problems that are going on the international front between Israel and Hezbollah,
And no, Hamas,
Hamas, and how they're terrorizing the which side is it?
the Israeli side.
No,
The
no.
they're terrorizing Palestine too. Don't
Yeah,
they? Yes.
they went from the Palestine area and jumped over the Israel area and started terrorizing the Israel side. But now it's going back and forth and causing so much problems. And historically, right, they're supposed to be family from way back. It's amazing how when it comes to blood and we think it's so thicker than water, I mean water that you can drink, water that keeps you alive, water that this whole world is based on, that is not necessarily so.
No.
Just like in our families are the same way in our relationships many times. We don't necessarily or get along, have different disagreements, have
Mm-hmm.
different points that we're not seeing eye to eye, and it can get to a point where we then begin to battle against one another, not only in our minds when it comes to emotional thoughts, but we may want to physically then reach out and hurt one another and hurt our family members. It's really a shame that in this time that we're having so much pain, so much heartache. Some people think it's the last,
The
what is it?
last
The
days, end
ends of
days.
days. Yes, a lot of people think that.
Yes.
They're talking about maybe if it gets more developed over there, that it could move into an actual nuclear war. Of course, in our day, in our time, nuclear war was that was it. That was a total destruction when it came to even that coming to pass. And
Yeah.
most young people will listen to us, or if you know some young people, they know nothing about the days that we had to hide under tables or we had to go to different shelters and know where to go to.
Mm-hmm.
They know nothing about that. Well, we need to understand that these are the times where we need to get closer in our relationship. We need to find time to not take life
For
for
granted.
granted. And that means the relationship you're in with your partner, we shouldn't be taking a relationship for granted
Exactly.
because this could be the last time for you. Hey,
You never know.
you never know. As they say, tomorrow is really not promised to you. This could be the last time you are on this face of this terra firma with the person you love. So take every moment as a present moment, like a present, and do all that you can to reach out to that person that you love and connect to that person that you care about because you never know what's going to happen. And It may not be, as we just talked about the first time, some kind of bomb dropping, atomic bomb dropping, wiping us off the face of the earth. It could be just because of death is going to face your door, car accident, anything else like that. And you're going
Natural
to,
causes.
exactly, and you're going to wish that you said to that person you love, I love you. I care about you. Because
I
you
want to
figure,
be with you.
exactly. Because you may think, I can wait for tomorrow. She's getting on me today. Call them all kinds of B's and N's and all that stuff. And if they
Understood.
died and you were left, you know deep down inside you would miss them and you would feel bad that I didn't at least try to present my best version of myself to the person I love. All those out there that we know who have not showed our best version to the people that we love. It could be in the past for our kids. It could be a past with our relationship before, with our past wife or girlfriend. Hey,
Or husband.
husband, that was then, that was before. Hopefully you did what you can for restoration. Hopefully you did what you can to forgive. But even that was then. You have now to live. You have now to in turn expand and do the best that you can and live in the present moment and live that balanced life. And one of the things that you can do is remember to keep your word. And that's what we've been talking about for the last couple of times. Having the ability or want to keep your word, because that's all you have. That's the bond that we have each and every day to remember of that person is their word, right?
Absolutely.
What you think about that?
I think that's very true. And one of the things that we understand and we know and we recognize that sometimes we find reasons for it to be difficult to keep our word. But the bottom line is that's all you have. And when something comes up and you can't or you have to go back on your word, you have to be ready to apologize. You have to be ready to say, I can't do it after all. And you have to be ready to say or come to another agreement on when you can do it to rectify the fact that you have not kept your word. Because from time to time, there are extenuating circumstances. But what we're talking about here is when they're not extenuating circumstances and you just decide, not now.
Yeah, not now.
Or,
I
changed my mind.
Don't make that not now the last thing that you said to the person you love, and then they're gone, and you wish you never said that. Keeping your word is very, very important. Broken promises, no matter how small they are, they can be devastating in your relationship. They become those bricks and mortar that you tear down one by one, piece by piece, and that foundation that you have called friendship in a relationship. And you know you've had some friends, deep friends. I'm not talking about acquaintance, but deep friends that you loved, you cared for, and they did too unconditionally. But when they betrayed you, or there was betrayal, you know that trust struck you right in the heart.
Yes.
It really did. And it could have been something little, right?
Right.
Or it could have been a combination of little stuff. And you were like, why would they do that?
And that's what I was getting ready to say. You know, a lot of times we do not understand or we do not realize that the small things add up too. We think, betrayal as one of those things like infidelity, things that are major, large purchases that you didn't know that the other partner didn't know anything about. But sometimes it's something as simple as you were supposed to go pick up dinner. You were supposed to stop at the grocery store, get the food for dinner, but you didn't, and now we don't have anything to eat, so now we got to go out to dinner. And that is a small thing, but then it's next time, can you trust them to do it again? But it becomes an issue when it has happened again and again and again and again.
Exactly.
It's compounded. That's what I'm trying to say.
It's compounded. Like compound interest.
Yes.
And the kind of interest that you don't want compounded.
Exactly.
No doubt about it. Hey, listen, I want you to go ahead and share with us as we continue on. We're going to dive into this more deeply. So share it with your friends, share it with your mate, share it with your children, because it's something they're going to need one day. Some people say, pastor said, put it in the deep freezer. One day you may have to bring this out. And maybe today it might be, but share and share it like too at the same time. Wow.
And make sure you share it with your coworkers. We find that our coworkers sometimes look to us for inspiration,
Mm-hmm.
and they, when you're in conversation with them, you have small talk about all different kinds of things, but you fail to think that they may be interested in things that have made a difference in your life. And so make sure you share it with your coworkers too. Even if you may see them as acquaintances, you still share a lot of things with them. Why not this also? Because this is
Exactly.
beneficial.
Yes, this is information and knowledge to help build, help strengthen, and you could take this with you, and it will be something that will help you in a long-term relationship all your life. Keeping your word, of course, will. Keeping your word. So, where were we last time since we're on part two? Where were we at? Just looking at our notes.
We had just stopped talking about integrity
Mm-hmm.
and relationships. I think we were moving into the reasons why broken promises or people don't keep their word.
What are some? I'm gonna put my glasses up too so I can see. But what are some of the reasons why people break their words, break their promise, which is still a word?
Yeah, exactly.
Remember, your words really are a promise.
Yes.
Maybe you need to think about that again when you put your word out, and it's something that you want someone else to do. Or we found out that there's twofold. We're going to find out on both sides. Okay.
Yes.
You have the side of you what? Following through on that promise.
And expectation.
Expectation, exactly.
Yeah.
So just think about these. Your word is really the form of a promise. And if you're a person to understand that, that's an integrity principle. Are you a person that says, when I speak, this is something I want to have come to pass? And on the other side, am I a person, when I hear it, I want to make sure that word comes to pass and I follow through on it? It's a relationship.
Exactly.
Okay? Give and take, ebb and flow. Okay, give us some of the broken promises that sometimes happen.
One of the reasons is because we don't ask directly for what we want. We drop hints. We're vague about the details. We think that we're clear when we say what we want, but it's really vague to the other person. But it isn't. And as a result, you hear things like, "I thought you said," or "I didn't know you meant that." And that's one of those things that we were talking about earlier, that I have a tendency to do in the classroom when I'm giving directions or giving instructions or saying what I expect the students to do. But I don't necessarily take that same care and consideration when I come into the relationship and I'm asking for something. It's almost as though we've been together so long, I think he can read my mind. I think he knows what I'm talking about. And that is, that's an assumption that you can't afford to make in a relationship.
Exactly.
When I'm talking to the students, I will say, "I need you to do A, B, C, and D." And then I will say something to him like, "Does that make sense to you? Is that clear to you?" But when I say to him, I need you to take out the trash, I automatically think he knows that. He knows what I'm talking about. I don't say something like, "Do you know which ones need to go out tonight?" Or something like that. Because we have these alternate weeks as to what trash goes out. I never reach back and check to see if he did it. And then if he takes the wrong one, the next morning I'm like, "Why didn't you take out the green can, the green top can?" And he was like, "I didn't know." Well, that was on me. I'm expecting him to do that, and I'm feeling like he didn't keep his word because he didn't do it. But it comes down to I was not clear about what I was expecting.
And it's amazing me when you talk about, to clarify this, when we are at our jobs, especially as Black folks, many times we're at our jobs and where we get paid. For the man, we will make sure that not all of us, but many of us do, make sure that whatever he asks us to do for that particular job, we would get it done. We'll make sure we read all the necessary manual. We'll make sure we throw it in the right place. We'll make sure that we even stay longer past lunchtime to follow through on our word that we're going to be good employees, right?
Right.
But yet when we get home and we get to our mate, we get to the person we love, we take off that mask at work and then become the person that says, maybe I'll keep my word, maybe I won't. But one thing is for sure, my promises could be broken at any time, and I'm just being human, and that's how that is.
And when you say that, the thing that comes to my mind is when you talk about how we do this and we do that and we do the other at work. From small children, we are taught on the job. You've got to make sure that your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted and everything is perfect, and that there is no going back and no suggesting that you didn't do what you were supposed to do. We don't get that same message when we're little about that's how you handle a relationship.
Exactly.
About that being as important when you're doing when you're engaged in a relationship. And so our training is like backdoor.
Backdoor.
We don't get what is important at all. We get what's important outside, but we don't get what's important inside.
Inside would be your relationship.
Exactly.
Inside knowledge that's needed to be done to have a successful, balanced relationship.
Yes.
Okay, well, let's look up whether see our comments is. I was waiting to see if I can see them up there. Usually we don't. Let me go over a minute. I'm being, as you know, usual. Yeah. Oh, that's what I want to see. Let's go see who's commenting real quickly. Hello, there's Era Scott.
There again.
Wow,
hello.
You
have such a beautiful name. I love that.
Exactly. And then she's saying,
Banner is
Mr.
there.
Bella, hello. And Mr. Banner again, saying hello. Haven't seen him for a while. Wow, but I think it was something like
about a week.
Been about a week. Yeah, definitely. So if we're not staying on top of keeping our word, then that's what happens.
Yeah. It definitely is.
That's what happens. And I think, just me, I think that the relationships that we're referring to has everything to do with how important, how precious, how much do you really care about the relationship that you're in with the person you're in. I think sometimes we take our relationship for granted, that I can get anybody, they can get anybody. We've been married long enough. It don't mean too much of anything. Anyway, don't take all that.
Yeah, or same old. We're doing great. It's we've been together so long. Where's he gonna go, or where's she gonna go? This is it. So let's just deal with it. And you stop putting in that extra effort. When you first get into a relationship, chances are you don't let your word go. If you say you're going to do something, you do it, and you do it with bells and whistles on. But as time goes on, I don't know if it's because they become more outside stress, more responsibilities from other places and other factors. I'm not sure what it is, but it's one of those things that we need to stay focused on, diligently focused on, so that we are aware that we are not doing that.
When you're faced with the fact, as we talked about the first time, and we look at what's going on in the world, hey, that might be the last time I see my wife. That might be the last time I see my husband. This is the last time I may see my kids. Why don't we spend our time in the now, which we do at our job. Many times at our jobs, we spend in the now. We have, some people say we have, what's that? Work wives, work husbands. And we're all involved with people at our job for that particular day. It becomes the highlight of our life, right? Living in that present moment. Many times we do it because we're going to get paid. What a way to make a connection about living the life right now, because of the fact that you are going to get paid, and you use the payment of money to make a driving commitment in your mind to be the best that you could be at that time. But when you go home, because I'm not getting paid finances, money, I don't care about it anymore. And I drop my word, I drop my promises. We got to stop doing that. Yeah. Those broken promises say, I am not really into you. I'm not really loving you. I'm not really wanting to be part of you. I'm saying to you, that's what that does. Thriving, healthy relationships Don't do that. We want to make sure that they always know who we are and how we're connected to them. Hey, you see running at the bottom? You can catch our program at different places, YouTube, Roku TV, and like and subscribe, to All Black Media. And you can go to our past shows and our shows that are going on currently right now. And you can always go back over and take those notes, get that information to help you out, because every day you are relating, every day you're connecting. And some days you're so busy, you need that good information like food to be able to help you. How can I say it? Stay balanced, stay healthy. Talk about staying balanced and stay healthy. There's somebody in the background that's all about staying balanced and staying healthy. That's Dr. Who?
Dr. Frazier.
Dr. Frazier. Let's bring him up. Dr. Frazier.
How you doing today? How both of y'all are doing?
We're
doing real good. Doing real good.
Good to see you.
Can you not see the celery sticks, the cucumbers, the tangerines?
Wow.
You mean you can't see that shine off of us? Come on now.
I see it. I see the smile looks so beautiful on both of y'all.
Well, Dr. Frazier, we're glad that you came. I don't know if you heard a little bit about what we were talking about. The subject today is keeping your word, how important it is to keep your word, and that we connected that your word is the same way or the same thing in your mind as being your promise. Your
That's
promise. And it's important for us to think about how powerful our words are if we see that they're actually promises we put out there. Hopefully, it will have you be more considerate about what you say.
Right.
Number one.
And how you say it.
And how you say it. And then hopefully it would have you be a lot more purposeful on what you say and how you say it with someone that you love. What do you think about that, Dr. Frazier? I know you just came in. I don't mean to put you on the spot.
You're okay. I agree with you 100%. You know, what you say is what people would think about you. That's what we call character. You know, so, you know, if you want to build a good character, you know, in a relationship, you have to, you know, build it up in a positive way, you know, reinforcing it with, you know, being a man of your word or a woman of your word. When you put that out there, you know, you say, I'm going to do something, like you say, let's do it. This also is what we call verbal integrity. You know what I mean? You know, you got to maintain integrity. You know, you want people to look at you as, you know, I can count on that person. You know, it's like what we used to say back in the days was, you could take that to the bank. You know what I mean? You know, so that's kind of like how I look at relationships as well. And I tell people when they come and sit down with me, when groups come and sit down with me, well, you know, couples or whatever, it don't have to be couples in relation, you know, when you come to relationship, you know, it could be how you relate with everything. You still got to do what you say you're going to do, you know, keep your word, you know. But I tell them that's one of the main things that's going to not have the person looking at you from a side eye. You know what I mean? Or, you know, you might need them to do something and they telling you they're going to do something and you don't trust them, then you might do something else. So, you know, like, it's not going to work out that way. If you can't count on the person to keep their word, then you're not going to be keeping your word because you don't know what they're going to do. So you don't know what to do.
Exactly. Sure. You want to go ahead?
That's very true, because one of the things is we don't understand that a commitment is a contract.
Yes.
And so we take it and we look at it as, well, I said I was going to do it, but it's no big deal. I don't have to follow through on it. You know, it's just like, I said it, but it, you know, okay, so something came up and I don't have to deal with it. But you made a contract. It's one of those things that, you know, verbal contract, and verbal contracts are so important that they even stand up in a court of law. Yeah. But for some reason, we don't feel like they need to stand up in the heart of our partners. You know, so
if you take your time out like I do sometimes, and you watch the TV shows about courtroom addicts, and you have the judges that do marriage courtroom,
Yeah,
you
the divorce court and
exactly,
stuff.
you will find so many of them talk in detail. You made this promise, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
You made that promise, didn't you? Show me the paperwork where you say that. Or did he not say that? The whole conversation is being judged in the courtroom based on somebody's word that they said, that gives them the ability to either get a divorce or not, or many times, how much money do you have to give away or not?
Yes.
Now they do, and this is just like the devil advocate here. You
Mhm.
know, in some of those courtrooms now, they deal on the state of the individual's conscious state at the time of the contract, the
Yeah.
verbal contract. You know, so a lot of us, when we do want something, you know, we haven't. We're running off that. What you say that the reward we're
Mhm.
gonna get from saying, hey, I'm gonna do this. You know, I know I'm gonna get a reward from this, but
Oh, talking about a reward, we have no reward anymore.
The reward will be back. As a matter of fact, why don't
Exactly.
we
Go to a commercial. Yeah, we're going to go to our first commercial and we'll be right back, and he'll be right back. All right. We're back again. We're back again.
I'm glad you're back
Glad you're
again.
back. Exactly. So, what were you saying actually since we went to the commercial?
well,
Before
what
we,
I was saying was, and do excuse this technology here, but you know, a lot of things like a bunch of negative activity, and we call it negative activity because it's not positive or positively reinforcing the relationship. So we look at that as negative reinforcement when you say you're going to do something but don't do it. That's not making the relationship better. So we're going to look at that as a negative reinforcement. You're actually breaking down the relationship. So, but a lot of people when that activity is going, most times it's because of some type of secret payoff that they're getting. You know what I'm saying? When they're doing these negative things, it feeds the ego. Like they go on a little ego trip or something like that. And a
Mhm.
lot of people consciously don't realize that that's what it is. They may think that they're just doing it just because they don't keep their word, but the ego has something to play in that. You know, I don't have to
Mm.
listen to this person. I don't have to do that, or You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't do it for me. You know, the ego start talking to them and telling them, hey, you don't have to
Mm,
hold up to this. Like how she was saying, I don't have to, stick up to this contract that we made,
hmm
and imagine she would do the same thing or he would do the same thing. The ego start talking to you, you liable to do anything. you know.
you're right about that. I'm gonna show at the bottom right here and put some music back on again. Sharon, why don't you tell us where they can find us too? Because last time we forgot about that, as we do every time, most of the time. Yeah, why don't you tell us a
On
little bit more?
Saturdays, you can find us on the radio at wruu.org. And that's from 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So no matter where you are, check the Eastern Standard Time. But if that's a little early for you, if you're in California or something like that, you can always listen to our past shows. Now, like the show that will be on Saturday, you won't be able to hear it later Saturday, but you can go to
We gotta go ahead.
/TTJT at -WRU.
And folks, we're a little behind on it. Our technical people who are to catch up on that, we'll probably get it done in the next, hopefully, couple of days. The reason why I say it, someone out of California got with me and said that they were trying to get with our archives to look at our past shows to get a feel for our show, because they were thinking about trying to have us do something out in Cali. And they went there, and sure enough, some of our past shows, I think almost 7 to 9 of our past shows, didn't pop up on that first page. And they were like, you better check that. So we're going to get with the person that works on that as our engineer and make sure we get all past archive shows up. Give us a couple more days, maybe 4 or 5 days, maybe less than that, sometime next week, and hopefully, or this weekend, hopefully have it up if you want to go to the past and look at our past shows, right, sir?
Absolutely.
Okay. Also, too, you can catch it on Taking the Journey. And once you give a little information on that one,
you can email us at ttjt@takingthejourney-together.com. This is all at the bottom, but it's always good to hear it also. You can also find us on facebook.com/ttjtogether and instagram.com/takingthejtogether. That's my favorite one, taking the J.
Taking the J. Yeah, take that J. I'm not talking about that kind of J for God. I'm talking about taking that J of joy in your relationship. Exactly. That's the kind of J we're talking about.
Just right relationship.
Exactly. Hey, Doc, can you tell some people a little bit? We don't usually do this, but we're trying to make sure we stay on the spot. Where can they find you if they want to know about your holistic? In fact, give them, for those who are the first time listening, give us a real briefly what you're about, what you do, and where they can find you.
Well, thank you for that. I am a holistic practitioner where I teach people natural concepts and principles that allow their body to heal natural. Now, I don't use the medicines or the remedies or the so-called herbs and cures. I believe that the body cures itself. But it can't do so while the cause is still present. So I get people to seek out cause, remove the cause, and allow their body to heal naturally on its own, where it can be a first intention healing where the body can heal and don't have to have these reoccurrences showing back up in their life like we see so randomly from the these other modalities of healing. But you can always catch me if they want to work with me in person. They can call me at 912-227-9335. They can go to savannahnaturalhealth@gmail.com and send me an email. And they can also follow the show that I do every Tuesday at 6 o'clock called Natural is F. It airs right there on Our Black Media every Tuesday at 6 o'clock.
Hey, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hey, guys, you just want to let you know that the wife and I also, too, are certified life coaches and relationship coaches. So you can always get a hold of us. She didn't mention that at the same kind of information you need. And by the way, we are now under the Doc's, how can I say it?
Watch.
The Doc's watch. So we're now doing one of his diet, what do you call it? Modality? What do you want to call that, sir?
It's a modality. We call it a modality. It's a hygienic modality, meaning that's our approach, our practice,
Exactly. He's got it actually adjusted for me. I'm not going to get into what my particular condition is, but he's got it adjusted for me. And the mate partner, friend, sometimes anyway, she's going along with it too. She's now adjusted her smoothies now to have what is it?
Yes, the banana, mango, and dates.
Oh,
Okay.
man, that's beautiful right there.
It's really good. I tried it. It was like, okay, I'm gonna get just 2 mangoes and see what happens, and it was really good. I tried it, and he's drinking it too.
What?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm drinking it. I don't usually do that stuff because it's too sweet. I don't like anything too sweet. I just never
But
really
it's
been
not
into it.
it's not.
I didn't
sweet.
say this one.
Yeah,
Is. I'm
yeah.
saying the stuff before.
No, that's what I was
smoothie
saying.
Before, yeah.
I was surprised too, and I like sweet things, but this
Like
goes.
me.
But this goes down really
We're gonna
good.
put him in the blender. We're gonna put him in the blender.
Hey, man. Hey. That was kind of morbid, but I'll leave that one alone. Halloween, we'll worry about that then, but not now.
But if we put him in a blender, I won't have anybody to antagonize. So,
I got you.
Hey, but I'm just saying, folks, to help him out. Of course, if he starts making money, he better give a tip to you, our show. But get with him; he can probably help you out on it. We've been losing weight, a lot more energy too. At the same time, the tips of when we're supposed to rest, when we're supposed to eat, all those are very, very good. And some of the stuff he talked about is so common sense that we don't really pay attention to it. Like one of them I'll speak, and the rest he'll give to you when you talk with him, that you have to think to yourself as a human being, why do we as a human being have a place in us that we have to let go of waste? If in turn our body is all about trying to only have what it needs to survive, then why would it need to waste? Now, people go, oh yeah, well, come on. Of course, then you have to think on the other side. Is it because maybe we're putting stuff in this that's not all good for us? So that's why it's got to be wasted?
it's because we're not keeping our word to our bodies.
There you go.
We're not sticking to that commitment.
Right.
Many of us don't even know what the commitment is to our body in the
That's
first
the
place.
point. And see, and that goes back to what we were talking about
Yes.
as far as your request and your desires not being clear. The body's request and desires are clear, but we don't quite get it.
Exactly. A commitment is an explicit agreement between two parties that spell out who does what by when. It has two parts, a request and a promise. Think of it like a handshake. Ooh, I was talking about that in the beginning before you came on, Di, that a commitment is two parts to it, a request and a promise. Most of us don't even think about a commitment or word being that way at all. Most of us don't, right?
Right. Most of us think of it just as being, this is what I want. And anything else doesn't matter. This is what I want. You supply it regardless.
It's funny you say that too, because in dealing with contracts and in law and stuff like that, a contract can't be one-sided where the person who writing the contract say, hey, you got to give me this and you sign this. Well, there got to be something on the other end for the receiver.
Yes.
You see what I'm coming from? Like you got to offer them some money, or you're going to, offer them something for them to hold up,
something.
the bargain. Yeah. So that's right what you were saying now.
Yeah. Hey, talk about a contract here. If you're getting good information and this information is helping you out in your relationship, hey, make a promise to yourself that you're going to give to this network. Make a promise to yourself that you're going to give something, $5, even more. If you got a big check, go right and give it to it, because we're giving you information that we know is free of charge. I was on another show, a financial show, that talks about how to make money directly through insurance, through retirement funds, 401ks, trust. And this particular guy who makes probably millions of dollars had us on, and he actually asked the question, how does a healthy, balanced relationship actually help you out when it comes to money in a relationship? You know what I said? Annulments and divorce. You go, oh, okay.
Hey, imagine if they, like you said, y'all coaches, right? And coaches help take you to victory, right? And so by you giving up your energy and time you know, just like these other doctors who sit in there and hit the clock and start writing and have you sitting on their couch and while they asking you about your past and revisit all this stuff, they making $100 to $200 to $300 an hour. You know, every time they go in and they ask you how much longer you want to go. But all they're doing is listening to you talk. But up here, y'all are actually, you know, giving them the actual tools that they can utilize to make their life so much better, provided that they come up here. So to keep this going, somebody had to, you know, it's not free because somebody is paying something to have you up here. It ain't free, you know. They're getting it, so why not help support to keep this movement going? Because if it benefit you, why not let somebody else hear, you know, about able to keep their word? You never know, it might swing right back to somebody that ain't keeping their word to them.
Yeah, exactly,
You know.
exactly. I do remember after I said that to him, he stopped and thought, and he said, "You know what? Almost similar to what you said." She said, "There are people who are given this information now as counselors and coaches, and they are making a whole bunch of money an hour, and yet you're giving it away free." I'm saying to you, this has got to be a passion, or you got to be crazy. One of the two. But the information you give is worth a whole bunch of money. Now, I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of stuff I gave away in life. I still do, because I believe in giving back in life and paid it forward, especially since the fact people are paid it to me. But I never thought about it that way, that, hey, we could be charging a whole bunch for giving this away. But we want to see and want to hear and want to believe that this can help you out as you move on in life, as you're trying to take that journey together with the person you love, or you're planning to take that journey with the person you love. So we're back on commitments. When it comes to a relationship, a balanced relationship, a healthy relationship, it's going to take a commitment, right?
Absolutely.
A clear commitment begins with request that spells out the essential details. I hear so many people talk about the devil in the details. Well, I say the devil in the details is this. The devil is there in it when you don't get the details.
Yeah.
So when you don't get the details, then the devil's going to be in it. And many times we don't give details when it comes to our commitment, what we're going to do, or what we put as a request that we want someone to do.
Right.
We call that unclear expectations, really coming from people. And also, like, you know, we pretty much going on the thought that, you know, this person should know this already. You know, don't everybody know that? You know, because, you know, our ego mind thinks that, you know, we're the only one holding truth, you know, and if no one is obeying or believing the truth that we're believing, then, you know, they must suffer and die. That's why we got politics and all this type of stuff. You know what I mean? So when you get two people that are not clear about their expectations and they start a cooperation, you know how you have to merge corporations together? They have to get lawyers together and they write out, hey, this is what we're going to do. Oh, no, I ain't cool with that. You know, well, we don't do that when we come together. We just looking like, hey, are we going to get together Friday night and, you know, do that thing we do, you know what I'm saying? And that's it. That's all we try to communicate about when it comes to relationship. Hey, we're gonna make sure we have sex 2 times a week, right? Now, we make that clear, but we don't talk about, you know, am I going to be honest with you about everything? Am I going to, you know, keep my word and stuff like that? Those things we don't take time to, you know, sit down and negotiate and stuff like that. But it definitely got to be negotiation.
Yeah,
and that's very true too. And a lot of that, when you talk about the ego, a lot of times the ego does not want to give that clarity because it's like, well, I'm clear. So why are you asking me to give you more information? I just told you what I want. And that's, and you know, and you see that in the workplace too. You see it in the workplace, you see it in relationships, you see it all over, that I know what I mean, so you should know what I mean too. Don't ask me, don't waste my time asking me more questions. And that is where we got to get the ego out of the way when we do this, in order to make sure that the word can be kept and we can get what we want. Exactly.
I usually wrap that in a big bowl and I call it It don't take all that anyway. Many of us have been in relations for years, especially when we're talking about the survival side. He's still here. She's still here. The
Right.
kids are still here. We may fuss and cuss. We may not even talk to each other, but we're still here. So all the stuff you're talking about, all the stuff this doctor's talking about, it don't take all that because we still here after all those years.
Hey, remember that was on in Living Color? I don't know if you remember that in Living Color.
Yes, I do.
About, yeah, they're fighting, beating each other across the head, but we still together. So
Exactly.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
That was the Winan brothers, and then that Williams
Yeah.
brothers, and that was his sister.
Yeah.
That played it.
Yeah.
And they made a very valid role. Yet
Mhm.
that stereotypes like that were pushed through many of the shows, even though Fred Sanford and his sister-in-law wasn't supposed to be married, but they act like a relationship with a black man and a black woman is always going to be controversial. There's always going to be drama.
Always
They're never going to be able to get together. There will be no unity. There will be no. Now, I'll be honest with you. I don't think it was done by accident.
I don't know.
I don't think it was done. I think it was purposely done to keep us always under that Willie Lynch kind of syndrome, whether you believe in that or not, and keep us thinking that we can never get together. We can never unite. We can never be on the same page. Without that, then they understood, how can I say it? Neighborhoods. They understood businesses. They understood nations couldn't be built when that first root in any nation or in any place relies upon that man and that woman or that family to be connected and feel that they're united together. So I feel I was
nuclear
unit, whatever you may want to call it. I just feel that it was purpose to. What you think about that? I know I'm kind of getting to the politics.
No, you're good. You're good. But it's more. It go as deep as consciousness is running all behavior, thoughts, and creating everything. So whatever the conscious of the collective or the majority, who's in power, whatever their conscious level is, that's going to determine what we see out here in the world. So if we got people who have power in a low state of consciousness, seeing everybody as Charlie and not as themselves human, they see everybody as,
animals.
Animals or beasts. You don't mind killing a beast, and but you can't sit there and say I'm killing another being of God or some light force, light energy, another part of me. When you call it like that, then you can't kill nothing like that. But when you look at something, you downgrade something to beneath you, then you can trample on that all day long. But only a person in a low state of consciousness can see another being as inferior to who they are. You know what I mean? So when you have those low conscious people and they're in charge, they the one got the guns and the power and all this stuff, then you're going to see a world in chaos. And that's what we saw. And they got a book out coming out where they're talking about the new dark age. You know what I mean? Because we went through a dark age where people were just straight, and I'm going to use the Buddhist term, straight ignorant. You know what I'm saying? And we saying Christian, dead in their sins. In other words, living in darkness or whatever you call it like that. But we about to see that again, as long as these, these commercials, these televisions, these, all this propaganda and stuff that's teaching our kids to just be dumb. In other words, have no conscious awareness of who they truly are and what we're here for. We're here just to boogie woogie, get high, have sex, and that's pretty much it. That's what we're being taught.
I heard you said boogie woogie. I wish Latia could be here because Latia, who is our other very, very rich, I'm talking about in depth of wisdom that she speaks. She's very unique, Latita. She can't be here because she's got some other personal things she's got to take care of. But she probably would have said, I can hear her voice now. After you got done with that, Dr. Fraser, she would say, ooh, that's groovalicious. I told her that if she says that again, I'm going to say, you dig? Oh, right on.
Right on.
There you go.
Yeah.
We live today in such embattlement in our minds and our soul. Now, physically, we got that embalmment, as you know, in Israel, that a lot of people now are focusing in the world around that. I'm thinking that it could lead to a third world. And we just spoke it before you came in, how we need to look at our life now and the fact that we live in the current, we live in the present now, and flow in the current of the now, and make sure that we keep that present image of love and higher energy with the person we care about now, which is the perfect balance that you can have and you can create even now. And your words are the ones that are going to create it.
Yes,
They are the very
and
things
that
that create it.
imagination. Yeah, the
Yes.
words and the imagination. You know, you got. I don't know if you familiar with the I am discourses, where it more or less is teaching people how to, you know, use their mental power by putting out good. Like they have a group of students concentrating on the world being a better place. That's all they put their mind on. Just, you know, constantly manifesting it with their mouth and in their thoughts that, you know, the waters is going to be clean. We got pure water in the world. We got pure air. You know, the safety of all the planes that take off. You know, safety of all the police officers that's out here doing good work. You know, safety. That's all they do, though. You know, and they're putting out that energy, just like you see in those lands where the Buddhists be and the monks be in there, and they constantly just sitting there praying for world peace and stuff like that. So, well, you got just a small amount of people who praying for world peace, and you got billions of people who got hate and you know, destruction in their heart. But just those little bit of people is maintaining balance in the world. Like they say, is one avatar can cover the sins of billions of people. You know what I mean? So that's why it's for us to get to like a kingdom world and get over all this destruction, talk about war and all this type of stuff. We're going to have to raise mankind, their mindset away from, you know, somebody come to me, I'm put a bullet in them, or, you know, I'm boss them out. They can't do this to me. You know, we got to get them to manifest in perfection all around them in their mind and in their thoughts. And we're going to notice that this world is going to be a better place when we sow that into the world. So.
Exactly. Now, I know some of us listening go, uh-oh, someone just went off into la la land. Someone just went off of my religious belief system. And we understand that everyone has their own belief system. They have their, you know, idea of God and goddesses and all that good stuff. And we're not trying to tell you what you should believe, what you shouldn't believe, even in your relationship. But we do and want to say that we want the best in your relationship. We want you to be healthy. We want you to be balanced. But we know it starts right up in here first.
Right.
What do you think about yourself? What do you think about your mate? Are you going to want your own self to feel like you're blessed and therefore you can be a blessing? Many of us in a relationship, we've come up through hard times and we come up through tough times. We don't feel good about our own self. And we wonder why the other person in our life is being a battle to us, because they're feeling the energy from us that's saying, I'm no good. I'm not comfortable. I could never be good to anyone else. I'm really worthless. And you may not even say it. You may not even give a hint through body language, but your energy is putting that off through the thoughts that you're creating from that end. So we've got to move to a point where that balance, that healthiness takes on the form of a real manifestation, because you start from in here and you understand that my words, they're my promise. They're my promise. Make a promise to yourself. I'm going to be better to myself. Make a promise to myself. I'm going to start trying to be more healthy because I am worth being healthy. Make a promise to yourself that when I do these things, I move from being so independent. I mean, independent from the standpoint I'm not connected to anyone else, but independent to the point that when I help and heal and connect, that's what happens. I connect. When I help and I heal, I have a better way to connect. And we know that taking the journey, we know that a balanced relationship is moving from being independent to interdependent, being connected as a us. And that's what we're trying to get all of us to move to understand in your relationship that relationship is about us. It's not just about you and that's it.
Absolutely. And
That's powerful.
we're getting close to that time now.
Yeah, we got about 1 more minute. So Sharon, you want to say something? Guys, us men, male energy just put out all that good stuff. Now, you know, if Latia was here, she would give us something groovalicious after
Yes,
this.
yes,
You know,
yes,
and I'm going to say this based on what you just said, based on what Dr. Frazier just said.
Mhm.
It's good to have that energy, that male energy, that positive male energy coming out and coming through, because what we hear is women are supposed to do this, men are supposed to do that. Women will keep their word, men won't keep their word.
Mm.
But what we really need to understand is it's equal on both sides. There is the good and the bad on both sides, but we need to hear this positive message coming from the male energy, because the male energy is, I guess you could say, it has been stereotyped to the negative, and we need to change that mindset and change that message that is playing, that tape that keeps playing, and know that you can listen to the male energy. You can listen to that male in your life, and sometimes be open-minded enough. Most of the time, be open-minded enough to hear what they're saying, hear that positivity, because it's important. It's not just, good news, good information, positive information is not gender related.
All right, we will leave it right. Well, you got to go on real quickly.
Also, we got to put those people who are trying to uplift the world, the people who you're talking about, those energies that's going to heal people, they got to be put up where the world can see. We can't have the people seeing people with this big gold chain, a bunch of gold teeth, pants sagging, talking about, F that, F this, and all type of stuff like that. Those are the ones that's getting all the play. They the one on the big screen. Them the one that more people are seeing. Only until when you get up there, they put y'all two up there on the big screen, make a movie about it, and have series, and you're showing like the Bill Cosby's, and showing them how to, have a good, house and take care of your kids and raise them and stuff like that. When they start seeing more stuff like that instead of these dysfunctional families, then you'll see a change.
Thank you. At that, gotta leave it there. God bless Ashe. See you next Thursday. Bye, Doc.
6
too.
o'clock.
Thank you for the good work.
Like that.